Hello, hello. Hey everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Heart's Frontier for another week. This is July 30th, and we are moving on so it's July 30th to August 5th. So it'll be our first week of August. I would love to know how everyone's doing and just make sure that our comments are working. And I will answer questions today if anybody, hi Alexandra, thank you. I'll answer questions if anybody has any. So update from my week this week, I was in Cambridge. So if you're following my Instagram, you would have seen I wasn't really taking a lot of content videos because I tend to just live my life instead of, I don't know. I find it's sort of sometimes to interrupt and go do that type of thing, but I will share more about the things that I was talking about because I think it's really valid and important information. So I did this talk on receptive brain states and their power to heal community from a variety of different, avenues. And so I'll share more about that soon. I have really been taking a look at just career and where life's at. It's so different and lovely being here in Scotland. And also it's allowed me this, perspective, when you go on vacation, you're sitting on the beach and you just kind of have, maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't go to beaches, but you sit on some beach. I don't even really do that. So it's very rare that I've had any type of real vacation in my life. I've been blessed to be taken on a cruise. So that's what had come into my mind years ago when I was dating someone. We were on a cruise. But like, yeah, I guess it's interesting to think about where life is at now. When you leave, when you separate, even separating from here, going down to England and being in the big city of London, and then also being in like lovely Cambridge, where so many beautifully creative and inspired minds have been. It gave me time to just be like, hey, Kate, where are you at? I tend to, when I'm in group environments and things, especially being here, focus on what it is I can be doing to help like the overall vision. But, what is my personal vision for life? I was spending just some extra time in that zone, which was really awesome. I'm feeling compelled to start with the Whispers of Love deck, which is rare. I don't normally start with the Whispers of Love deck. So I'm kind of feeling like reading into what August will be like for us, but also, yes, this week and what this week will be like. All right. Thank you for saying you're glad I'm doing well. Yeah, actually, honestly, the red lips thing was really a lovely suggestion from a very close friend of mine because it was something I used to do a lot and has been a part of my life in certain ways. It does remind me of, I don't know, like vintage styling and things like that. So that was my reason for loving red lips in the first place. But there is something to speaking with power, speaking with passion, and having the red lips and that, kind of coinciding. There's a bit of that sort of, I think it's cool to have meaning in things, even simple things like makeup. And there were years where I didn't do any makeup and I tried putting my hair in different kind of ways so that, I don't know, I was really challenged actually. It was a really, I'm doing some personal sharing. Hope that's okay with you guys this morning. And then I am getting into our collective reading. I would hope that if you're here, you're interested in all different things as it relates to healing. So this is a part of my healing story, I would say. For years, I had actually really struggled with friendships because I would want to be friends with, different people, and some of them might like develop feelings and things. And then I would be stuck in this uncomfortable place of rejecting them or having them upset with me for existing and just wanting to be friends. So I was very like innocent hearted, wanting friends. And then sometimes people would like me and someone else, so say some guy liked me and then some girl liked that guy. And then I would be very uncomfortable because I just wanted to be friends with, all of these people. And it seemed to be one of it's just tough being a teenager, tough being a child, and trying to grow up in this world that is very much focused on those types of things. Yeah, my little heart just really wanted friendships. And so when I got to college, after years of this being my reality, where it really did hurt me to not feel like I could have genuine friendships the way that I'd hoped I would be able to. I was like, I'm giving up makeup. I am throwing out my bras. I'm going to try and make myself look different, because if I look different, maybe people won't like me. And the thing is, people like us in general. People tend to like us because of our hearts and our energy. There are sometimes we run across someone in our lives and we feel like so drawn to them, and not necessarily for, intimacy or for romance, but you just feel drawn to that person and who they are because their energy is so attractive, because the way that they live their life is so attractive, or the way they think is so attractive. And, it magnetizes you, and it has you feeling drawn towards them. And so really, it was quite a frustrating time, actually, because I was very deeply unhappy with myself. I felt like people maybe weren't seeing my value outside of just wanting to date me, which is incredibly upsetting, and not anything to build self-esteem on. It sounds so backwards. I know it really does. I think I want to be sensitive to the fact that could sound really annoying to someone who wishes that people, would develop feelings for them and stuff. But just to show you kind of the other side of that as well. I think what we deeply crave at the bottom of all of this is authentic connection and friendships and connections that feel supportive and that feel true and clear and reciprocal and equal in some kind of way. And, nothing's ever truly equal, but to have friendships that feel like they meet you where you're at, and likewise as well. And so, when I was in college, I did this big, hurrah about, and I was like, I don't want to date anybody. And I had some serious things to heal through, like serious. And so it just super was not a priority. And then over the years now, as I've gotten older, I've been able to reclaim certain aspects of what beauty or attraction could look like, and how could it be safe, or where is it actually that I find authentic self-expression, or where can I actually receive these things that feel like a pure version of and a kind version of love, and a love that has no expectations or heavy energy associated with it. So just a part of my journey. So let's start with this Whispers of Love deck. Okay, so we have Back to What You Love. So this is very much the energy that I was just talking about having this weekend, which is reevaluate your desires. So take a look this week, and really you can do what I say or don't. You can always just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it doesn't feel like something you want to do, don't do it. That's a that's a good tip for life. So reevaluate your desires. This is what I was doing, was taking a look at what is life right now? What is it that would be ideal in the future? How could I grow and expand my life in a way that could allow me to give more to others? It's a deep desire of mine to be in such a place that I am comfortable and able to give to more people in these deeper ways and more focused ways as well. So reevaluate your desires, back to what you love. So if you feel like you've gotten off course, if you feel like you've taken some kind of steps to the side of what your purpose is, there's no urgency, but there is an importance to getting back to what it is that makes you feel like yourself. And feeling like yourself, I mean, only you get to decide what that is. And that's something I find really fascinating in life, that how do you know your life is working for you, right? Your life is working for you when you're working for it and you feel like yourself. And it has this equal and reciprocal exchange. So there is something very much about understanding, maybe understanding laws of the universe. If you've never looked up laws of the universe, it's not just law of attraction. There's also laws of reciprocity. And I think there's two, like, kind of a way of understanding reciprocity that is, sometimes you put energy in one direction, but it comes in through a different window. I recently, I don't know if have I told you all, let me know if I told you the story about the birds flying in through my chimney, multiple birds. Let me know if I've told the birds flying through the chimney story to you, and do let me know if you have a question for me, if there's anything I can help you with on your journey this week, or anything you'd like to know of psychically or energetically. Then do let me know. Let me know if I've shared the bird story, because I don't want to repeat myself. The birds in the chimney. I can see there's a few people watching, so I'll just wait for a comment. So anyone who's watching, maybe I'll change it so it's not just the top chat comments. Live chat. I'm sorry to hear that was your experience. I'm seeing all the comments come in, but yeah, let me know if I told the bird in the chimney stories. Anyone else who's watching, please, just so I can make sure that these are still going, because YouTube does have some like restrictions on what we talk about. Svetlana, oh, thank you for being here, and thank you for letting me know. Okay, and yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of heavy things that is that the time when it fell? Oh yes, Alexandra. Okay, so there was the one time that that a bird came in. So I have a living roof here, right? So I have a living roof, and so this bird was like eating seeds presumably, and then hopped down my chimney, and that happened once during a live stream. Yes, and then I left and was like, okay, I need to go deal with this, and I got help from one of the people at the property, one of the men at the property, to come in and help with that. And I used to, so I used to in my life have just a massive panic attack disorder, which I tried to keep very well hidden, but was very, very distracting and almost daily, and tons of hyper. Yeah, well, I'm not going to go into all that, but what you need to know: I had this serious panic attack disorder for many years, and this bird thing was like one of these things where in my brain my wires had just crossed at some point. Like I never had a problem with birds, and then in this time of having these panic attacks, I just if I saw birds where I felt like they didn't belong, I would be like my knees up to my ears. It was ridiculous. And so if you guys have medieval times where you are, it's like a Renaissance-y fair type thing, like a show where it's like knights and jousting, and they have birds of prey and like falcons, and they would like do circles around, and I was like, this is not my idea of a good time. Or like like a pigeon comes into your restaurant and it's like trying to get out. Oh, that was one of the worst things for me, which is really bizarre. It was just bizarre that was like one of these quirks that came up. Anyway, so I've since, made it through that stage of my life, but every now and then a bird thing, I'll still think about, hey, am I uncomfortable, or am I nervous, or is this stressing me out, right? And so a bird coming in where it absolutely was going to be stressed and not feel like it belonged there, and then what? You have to get it out of your house. I was like, that might be a bit too much for me, so I got help for this first one anyway. And so then, like a couple weeks later, I was sitting here in the morning, and I was sitting here in the morning, and then another bird comes down the chimney. And I was like, how is this happening? This is like 2 times in the same month, right? 2 times in the same month. That's like it's so bizarre. And I saw it was like really sweet. There was like little bird was like poking out of the little window on it's like a wood stove, a little potbelly stove, so I can open it. And I thought, well, what do I do if I open this? Is it going to then just be flying around my house? Like I was feeling still a little bit uncertain. And so I got the landowner to help me. So it was like someone else helped me the first time, someone different the next time. And I said, but this time that I asked the landowner to help me, I was like, I want to watch how you do it. He's kind of like a father figure kind of man here. And so I was like, please let me learn this. Please let me just watch how you handle this, because he'll have some way to handle it that then I could feel like, okay, next time if that were to happen to me, I can deal with it myself. But then he needed to, what was happening? He needed to wait for some like insurance guy or something. And so I had to wait at the office to intercept that person if they decided to show up. And so I was like, no, curses. Like, I don't want to keep asking for help, right? I don't want to play into the damsel storyline of, there's an empowered damsel and then there's the weak shadow damsel, which is like waiting for everything to happen for you. That really wasn't my intention. And so I was like, oh no, I'm so frustrated that, like, I'm happy that the bird's out and it got released, but I was frustrated that I also wasn't able to like face my fear. And I was kind of regretting, like, hey, I could have just dealt with that myself. And then I would have, been like, I did this and I'm proud of myself. And then, kid you not, later that day on my lunch break, I'm sitting here and another bird flies through my chimney. And so I was like, 3 times in the same month. That just feels like almost made up. And just like, how is this like still happening? Since then, by the way, this isn't going to keep happening, because since then we've put up chicken wire around so that they can't come down. Because I was like thinking, oh, when I'm in Cambridge for this talk, I don't want this poor bird to get stuck. And there's meanings behind birds getting stuck in your house. So what was interesting is that one of them was a sparrow, which was really lovely. So I went out to the like fire, and I was like, I got this. I'm actually going to handle it this time. And I opened it, and it flew out onto, so you can see behind me, my curtains are kind of like branches. They look like branches. So this bird flies and lands on this branch just by where we sit here for this oracle work. And then I was like trying to get it to go out the front door. Okay. I was like, come here, little birdie. It's very like Snow White. Like, I was like, come here, little birdie, come on out. And then I was trying to get it to actually like leave out the front door. And what it did is it actually just flew right out the window. And so it was a beautiful thing, because I had been really uncomfortable with some things happening in my life. And in general, just, what I was doing, and also wanting to feel like, no, like I've got this, like to feel a sense of courage and self-confidence, because my confidence had really been shaken by things that were happening. And so it was so beautiful, because I had released some friendships, I had released some stressors in my life, and I had been dealing with some actual challenges coming up, that, not that the rest of my life hasn't been actual challenges, but I was like dealing with, releasing some friends who are not friends, releasing people in my life who are not kind to me, and releasing also energies that were distracting and not useful for the work that I'm here to do. And so it was interesting, because it was almost like actually allowing everything to just leave, right? Allowing them all to be released and to be free, right? A lot of times, if you're keeping some kind of friend in your life who it doesn't feel like a good fit for you, and then that person is like continually maybe taking energy as much as they can. I mean, you allow that, but if they're trying to take a lot of energy and you just don't feel that reciprocation, it's actually the kinder thing to allow this bird to fly free outside of your home and your energetic space, because it allows them to actually do what they're meant to do here in life. It actually feels like an incredible bind when someone is thinking that they can't have the friendship that they want with you, because you're not matched, and they can't quite figure that out. They can't quite understand, or they're just maybe just you're in 2 different places. Like, there's no judgment on either side. You're just in 2 different places in your life. And so yeah, it's really interesting. So it was like this beautiful thing of actually just being able to say, like, let's set this free and completely, and then protect, so that there's actually no ability for this bird to come and get stuck and be trapped and be, in that kind of influence ever again. So love that. Love being able to kind of make more meaning out of things. I think it's a really cool thing. So let's go on to more of this week. Rest and relaxation is essential. So it says we all have a fundamental need to take a break. And if you are ever someone who has done a pattern of like overworking in your life, or are like pushing and pushing and pushing towards some kind of like end goal, but you never seem to get to it, it could be that you're not actually resting and allowing your body to recover. In these times where I was like really going through a challenging time in my life, mentally, that relaxation almost never really felt like possible. Like it felt like, and I had a client like this recently, actually, who, for years, she just was so stressed. And, yeah, this is a really good one. So for years, she was so stressed that she feels like every time she goes to sleep, it was like she goes and goes and goes. And then suddenly she just somehow falls asleep. And then somehow the next day she wakes up. And I was trying to tell her, hey, that's not actually rest. That's you crashing. And rest and relaxation is very different than just crashing because all your energy has been depleted or you've just run out, right? And I think, yeah, this fundamental need to actually take care of your body in a way that can actually support the work that you're wanting to do, or the dreams that you're wanting to achieve, or the clarity that you're looking to have in your life, requires that you take care of your physical well-being. So I've got a couple little goals for August. I'm excited to release and share more about those. Instead of doing daily oracle readings, I am going to come back for some more regular videos, but they're going to be messages that are not like channeled messages, but more maybe shares or specific things. I'll be doing these quests, like Heart's Frontier quests, and taking on like a habit or a new task or a learning objective or something like that. So I encourage you to allow August to be, and I'm not sure why I've been feeling this for August, but I really have been all year. I've been feeling like August is going to be a really good time for people to make changes in their life and to actually expand into more of the person that, it's like self-realization. It's more of the person that you feel that you are by doing, right? But not by pushing and pushing and pushing and then never resting and relaxing. So if anyone has questions, by the way, for the Oracle time, I will get to that soon. So if you do have that, then feel free. Would be happy to answer. And let's see. So also for this week, and I think just for in general, the month, we have Milky Way, which is perspective. And this one I think is really important. I think it's really important that we keep a sense of perspective. When I was talking about being able to get away to do this work thing, it was actually somewhat strenuous beforehand, trying to think about making space for this in the current life that I have, being able to afford and take out and get out to the time, and also planning this talk and building the confidence and, also handling all the other kind of responsibilities that are in my life. Having that perspective finally of actually getting to go on this trip, you might feel that when you're working towards a goal that sometimes the getting there doesn't feel as exciting as actually the being there. But what I would like to say is the perspective that I think it's important that I brought back with me is that was all so valuable because I was going on instincts and just trusting that, hey, there's got to be a way that this is going to work out and this is going to happen. And it all did. And I think if you've been feeling like you're not quite on the right track, or you've been feeling like you're going towards something and it's not quite what you thought it was going to be, or not coming to fruition, which happens on our, on our paths, that sometimes we go towards something. Alexandra, I'm feeling this actually for you. So I'm curious whether you have questions as well today. But the perspective piece, it's like, can we actually find a way? And you don't have to go down to, Cambridge, London, or whatever. You don't have to go somewhere to go do this. You don't have to fly to Bali to try and get perspective. You can go to a forest. You can talk to a tree. You can also gain perspective by speaking with other people, and having truthful, honest conversations and allowing them to weigh in on, I'm really looking at this kind of thing. Like, what do you think about that? And so gaining that perspective this week. Gaining perspective, actually, for me, one of the things that came through for me this week is the perspective of, how many people I am wanting to like serve and help in my lifetime. And that number really, really, really increased. The number of people who I feel inspired to actually be able to make a difference in their lives, which means using my energy differently. I used to be so much more available to just anyone who wanted my energy, right? Think about this story. This is where it comes full circle. Oh, I'm sending love to you as well, Alexandra. Yeah. You are such a gracious host to me. It feels special that you still show up on these oracles, and yeah, that I get to connect to your energy and hopefully help and support you with this next chapter, what you're shifting into. But yeah, thinking about, this old story that I'd had of my childhood of not really feeling like you could gain those, true friends. This pattern then in my adult life was still here in wanting to help with healing work, is that I would try and help anyone who spoke to me, anyone who would like want to interact. And the thing is, at a certain point, in order to help more people and to help people at a deeper level, my energy needs to be full, and it's very difficult to have a full tank when I'm not allowing that to actually be my day-to-day practice. So it's like practicing what I teach, to say, and it's kind of like that example that they tell you often of, like, you have to put on your own oxygen mask first, right? Like, I need to love myself and be my own friend first before that would be, and I also need to put my own healing work first. So I do that now in my life, but there are still little hints of how I used to be that will show up. There's still little hints of how I used to just be so available. And the thing is, now I am fully available to my soul mission and to my spiritual purpose. And that's where I put my love, my attention, my energy. And so, I was like feeling drawn to go to this a specific event. Like, I was going down for a different event, and I went to that and did my talk, but I was also feeling drawn to go to a specific event on the Saturday. And it was so odd because it was not the type of thing I would normally go up to. It was not normally like a thing that I would go do, but I felt so drawn to go to this event, because it was like following the call, following the spiritual mission and the purpose. And my instincts were right. I think they really led me down to a place of being able to gain that perspective. I don't think I actually would have gained this perspective that I needed had I not done that separate other thing. So taking a look at the choices that you're making, and do they help the entire galaxy of your life rather than just staying on one planet? That really does feel very, very important. We also have winter solstice, which is reflection. So I don't see a ton of like active energy other than the, like, where's life at? Where am I at? What is it that I'd like to have more of? And what are a couple small things I could do towards that? But that's all reflecting. So I'm currently creating some of my sort of like, goals and breaking them down a little bit, and also thinking about some visions for life that I've seen and allowing them to be more like front and focus. Otherwise, sometimes they can feel veiled, and sort of we can be in this like fog of our life. So I feel like this is all a very, very similar kind of energy. Anyone who would like to ask a genuine question about their healing work, or about psychic, and maybe not about your healing work, your own like internal healing work is what I mean, or about perhaps what is coming up for them this week, you're welcome to ask that. Okay, and then we have Gaia Earth connection. So Earth connection says, be mindful of the planet, come back to Earth and stay grounded. Come back to Earth and stay grounded. I see your question, Alexandra. Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet, come back to Earth and stay grounded. A really interesting little story that's popping into my head. I just feel like it's such story time today, which isn't always how I do these oracle readings, but hey, we go with what we feel. So, all right. So, tiny little story. at this second event that I'd gone to on Saturday, I didn't want to use a plastic water bottle. I have this water bottle and I was like, I just want to fill it up at a tap. Just want to get water. But I was sitting next to someone. I said, hey, are there any taps around here, or like, do they have water jugs or anything? And he was like, no, I asked yesterday and like, I couldn't find anything. That's too bad. And I said, I really don't want to use plastic. So I'm going to go and try and find water. He's like, well, good luck. I mean, I didn't find anything. And I'll tell you, this event that I was at was about, like, in many ways, like creating a dream life for yourself, or expanding yourself, or being able to receive and being able to also then be able to give more. It was a lot of these types of concepts. So the idea of then being able to receive the right answer and getting the water was kind of like a fun mission now. And so I said, watch me. I'm going to get water. I will come back. I will do this somehow. There's no way that I cannot find water for this. I'm like in a city, Anyway, and so I go out to the lobby, and the first person I speak to is like, okay, I'll for sure help you. Yeah. And then I said, they're directing me towards where the like bar is of snacks and things like that. And I said, I really actually don't want to buy a plastic water bottle. So I was being mindful of how I was feeling. Was I really actually, I had brought containers of snacks. I didn't want to just be buying all my food. I was bringing like containers of snacks. I was trying to be a bit more mindful. It's something I've been trying to do more of. I find in the UK here, there's a lot of packaging material. Like even if you just want to buy veggies, it's like packaging on everything. It's not my favorite. And I'm like not finding a farmer's market around here and that kind of thing. It's just like really irregular as to when they have them. And so, yeah, I'm trying to like set a goal to use less garbage and trash and things, have a more positive impact on the earth. So have a garden here, trying to use more things there. Anyway, so I go out to the hall. They're trying to help me, blah, blah, blah. I say I don't want to use plastic. And then literally this volunteer, this man, he says, actually, I have my water in like a glass bottle and I'll just give you that. And I was like, are you sure you don't need to give me your water? But also then I was thinking, well, I'm at this event that's all about receiving. And this person is offering this up because they're genuinely wanting to help. And how rude of me not to allow them that opportunity to help. How rude of them not to take him up on his suggestion or his offer. And literally just every last drop, and it fills up my whole water bottle. It was so special. And I walked right back in. It was like the easiest thing ever. And this person sitting next to me was like, "What? How did you just do that?" And I went, I guess I was ready to receive. And so maybe that's some of the energy of like ready to receive help, ready to receive support, ready to receive truth, ready to receive clarity, kindness, all of these things. Maybe that's what you're doing, is just getting ready this week. And it also says stay grounded, right? Staying grounded is very important. If I'd gone out and I was really stressed, maybe that person would not have had an easy time helping me. If I was saying, I need you to do this, you have to do this for me. I need you to do this because I need this, and it's not for, that might have really come at a very different energy, and maybe they would not have had an easy time like helping. So it is sort of like it's an approach that we take, and it does take lots of time. Of course, I've been applying myself to a lot of this work for a long time. But yeah, maybe that's part of the energy that we're working with this week. We also have Green Tara Supreme Protection, which says you are protected, cords are being cut, and it says move beyond limitation and trust. And move beyond limitation feels very important. Move beyond the limitations of yourself, the way that you limit your own mind, the way that you also stand in the way of what is possible for yourself, to build a sense of trust. But the cords are being cut, and to actually be protected. It feels very similar to the story of the birds coming down the chimney and this chicken wire, and having to put that up to say, you know what, I'm not willing to allow that to enter my energy field anymore. I'm not willing to allow that to affect my state of mind, right? I would be sad if some bird landed in there and I was in town all day and then it got scared or passed away. That would feel really, really sad to me. And so now I don't have to think about this thing that really gives me a lot of sadness. It's totally possible to have a sensitive heart and also be very strong-willed and strong-minded. And I think that's my goal or my intention. It's to help people find a way to be themselves without sacrificing that personal self-expression, like who I am, at the same time, right? How can I help people be the person that they wish to be or the person that they are if I don't allow myself to be the person I am. And to trust in that, to trust in the moves that I make and not to second guess myself based on outside influences. I think that's very important. Then we also have Cosmic Gateway Horus, which is very interesting because we also had this Milky Way perspective and this Cosmic Gateway, this cosmic reference. It says your thoughts are magnetic and powerful and miraculous changes are occurring. So if a miracle could occur, what would you want that miracle to be? What would you ask for that miracle to be? So I'm going to scroll up and answer Alexandra's question because it is coming in, a genuine way, looking for support, looking for. So, Alexandra, someone that I did not connect for a year with just sent me a message this morning. I stopped contact with him because he's in contact with my landlord, so I got scared. I wonder, is he a friend or not? Is he a friend or not? Do I have my pendulum with me? I think I do somewhere. Yeah. Is he a friend or not? He was the local farmer I connected to. That's interesting because I was just talking about that too, the local farmer, because I was just talking about local farmers markets. I think that's interesting. Yeah. So then he's in contact with my landlord, and then I stopped contact. So is he a friend or not? Is he like someone to trust? So we'll see this person. I just got scared because he cooperates with the landlord, right? And for anyone not familiar with Alexandra's situation, this landlord is causing a lot of stress and is putting up a lot of like resistance to what Alexandra would love to create in life. Yes. No. So I get the feeling like this person is trustworthy, but not with content that relates to your landlord. So it's like with all other subjects other than talking about your home situation or talking about your landlord. So it's interesting because I feel like they messaged you kind of like, here, I'll ask as well, or are they messaging you like because of the landlord? So I don't see them messaging you on behalf of the landlord. Like, I don't think that they were trying to like fish or like get connected with you in order to like mess with your life or something. I see that they're genuine about wanting to be your friend. I also just don't feel like they would be able to protect or have your interests respected if you tried talking to this farmer about the landlord situation. I do kind of have a feeling like this farmer might be able to help you with what's next though, but you have to kind of be conscientious of like, it's interesting. I have like a lot of like nose itchiness right now, which feels like there's something he knows, which is interesting. There's something that this farmer knows. But I don't want to advise you to be like searching out this kind of the farmer is brilliant. Alexandra, the farmer is brilliant. Yeah, there's something he knows. Like I feel like he's like a really interesting person for you to learn from and oh, he knows. Yeah. 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 I think that it's something that he is going to be able to help you with. But it's like you don't want to be revealing the fact that you're like, I'm trying to get out of here. Well, maybe you can say that you do want to be out of there. I think there's just some way, like I think he actually does respect you and see you for who you are, and not for whatever story that perhaps the landlord would have said. And sometimes people just cooperate with people because they don't want to be in conflict. You don't want to be. I know, but I guess what I'm saying is, if the situation is, as I've been seeing it, you will be. And because you will be out of there and onto something better, right? You wouldn't leave unless it was something better. Your course tomorrow. Okay. Well, we're all on, the edge of our seats. wanting to see how this is going to work out, because perhaps the court thing will make it more final in one way or the other, right? In one direction or the other. It's important that like, I think we use our discernment, right? And we are able to say, this person means, this is only for the cabin. So no, but it still will be very clarifying. You know, this is a long and exhausting kind of like consuming, process. So once you know about the cabin thing, then it will still help to clarify how things are going to be able to shift or not. The Red Home Court is in September. Yeah, very interesting. I'm very interested to see, you've got this rainbow blessings card. I just saw a rainbow actually on Thursday, and it was so exciting. It was like it was the first rainbow I've actually seen since I've moved back to Scotland. And it was very interesting because it was like I was on my way. Literally, it was 5 a.m. I was driving to the airport, getting driven to the airport, and the whole city was like cast in this beautiful pink light. And it was like, because I was leaving. So there's something about that I'm bringing through here to you, and not to be annoying, Alexandra, because I know I tend to repeat myself with these kinds of messages. But I was just like, I can't ignore what I see and what I feel, what I know, I would say. And I just feel as though there is a new life setup waiting for you, because this one does not feel in flow. It does not feel in flow. It actually feels full of resistance. And what is resistant is not what is in alignment. It's not what's in flow. So if there is a resistance towards moving right now because you're like, I'm just not ready, I don't know what that would be, and there's all this stress, well, eventually that will clear if it needs to. And I trust that. I actually trust that is clearing kind of with every passing week, actually. So rainbow and blessings. It was interesting. I guess what was interesting is that this rainbow appeared on my way out of this area that I live now. And so because it appeared on my way out, it was like, okay, I'm getting guidance and I'm getting this, I tend to view rainbows as this like rare blessing and this beautiful kind of like miraculous opportunity. You happen to just, have enough water and light at the same time to like create all these forms of light. It's just, it really is mind blowing to me how rainbows even exist in this world. And to see it on my way down into town, to focus on work and to be able to, and on my own purpose, when I had felt so uncomfortable for many, many weeks prior to that, and really having a hard time being online, having a hard time showing my face online, and having a difficult time feeling as though I maybe wasn't in the right place. I wasn't doing the work that was actually helping people and was actually starting to have some sort of detrimental effect. I realized that by leaving and by focusing on my own purpose and by knowing that helping way more people is actually the goal. In order to do that, I need to have my basic needs met. I need to feel confident. I need to protect my energy. I need to keep that wire cage around so that the birds don't fly in and get trapped in this fireplace. And then I'm tending to something which I don't need to be, to allow things to leave. And to, what's interesting, I'm bringing this out just because I think it might resonate with you a little bit, Alexandra, and then I'll get on to Svetlana's question here. And, you can feel, it says effortless. This is what you're not seeing. Imagine it could actually be effortless, that some change coming in for you could be effortless, that some truth coming in for you could actually be easier than you think when we face these forces of resistance, or these forces that challenge us, that bring up our shadows, that bring up our wounds and our ways that we don't serve ourselves fully. And so, Alexandra, this relates to you. It could be effortless. It could actually just be easeful. And, I was talking about this with a client because they were saying, oh, it's really hard when, and I understand that. I used to feel like a lot of things were really, really difficult. And the thing is, they are a choice as well. We choose, so we have thoughts and feelings and behaviors, right? This is like our CBT, our cognitive behavioral therapy kind of model. It's very basic, right? But thoughts and feelings and behaviors are all connected to each other. And then at the bottom of that, we have beliefs and perceptions, and the way you believe and perceive the world in your subconscious, that is leading to how you're acting and reacting to life. And so over time, if you're able to get to the core of these subconscious limitations or these subconscious beliefs and perceptions, then you'll be able to receive more fully these blessings, right? So like my friend at this conference, right? That this friend I had met, if he had gone out into the thing and was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to find any water, he probably wouldn't, right? He probably wouldn't have found any water. I was like, I'm finding water. And so it appears. And so it appears through the kindness of someone's heart. And so we go towards what is meant for us, right? We go towards what is easeful, what is in flow, what is reciprocal, what does not have resistance. And as we chase these things and as we pursue what does not give resistance, we find ourselves more in alignment and we find ourselves more in the flow. And there's a lot more to that. So studying the laws of the universe, I think, is a really helpful thing. Or the laws of physics as well. I think it's also very important, and they're actually quite similar. Anyway, so this is what I wanted to show you. This is a shadow that I was working on that I feel, I think is related to a lot of us in general in this collective. And it's the destroyer. The destroyer shadow is, potentially destroying other people's dreams or potential, or an intoxication with destructive power, right? By staying overly available years before, even within the last year or so, I've grown a lot in how I can manage my energy and boundaries and how much I have to give. And in that way, we could actually destroy someone else's potential by if I'm not meant to be someone's guide, then I'm not helping that person by giving any available energy that I have, right? The interesting part and the way that this shadow has been showing up for me in this round is through the light, actually. And the light of this destroyer card, this volcano, right? This volatility, the light of it is releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for new life, right? So releasing what is potentially destructive, releasing beliefs that are not helpful, releasing fears that no longer protect me. The fear of, if you show up and when I was saying the thing about, I burned my bras and I stopped wearing makeup and I didn't want to look attractive in any way because I didn't want anyone to not be my friend anymore, right? The releasing these things and being able to bring back makeup, that's a beautiful thing, because maybe that was potentially destructive, that I was still considering myself as a risk just by existing, right? And you're not, you're here really to be this full volume volcano, and to keep regenerating. When a volcano erupts and then all the lava cools, it becomes then new land, and you prepare for this new life. You wipe out things in order to prepare for, and if you're doing some sort of deep healing work with yourself, and if you're wanting a life that is different than the current life that you're in, or you're just wanting less forces of resistance in your current life, like Alexandra, it's like, I would just love if like this landlord could just cooperate and be, on my side or something. Releasing what is potentially destructive, letting go of the things, and trying to allow these birds to fly out into the world, and simply allowing then new life to be able to thrive, and for that bird to fly and for your home to be bird free. I think it's an important thing, releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for new life. So this has been really interesting. Okay, Svetlana, let's scroll back up here. A general love reading and what to expect next. That is a totally fair and open question. It's interesting, very interesting what I'm feeling here. So we talk about protecting our energy, and I've been talking about how you devote energy to yourself, how you give energy to yourself, being something that then you can receive from others, right? So I like the example of the water thing. I believed in my own ability to somehow generate water that was not from plastic. And so it appeared very quickly because I had this belief, in this positive belief. And so I see that for you, Svetlana, that part of this is about building a positive belief of like, if I feel this next partner, this next kind of energy or partner in your life coming in, and you feel kind of their energy, to say, I trust that if it's not this, then it's better. If it's not this, next person that you date, Svetlana, then it will be better than that. There's something about that. So I'm curious whether you have gone on any dates or had any connections recently. Let me know if you have had any connections recently, drawing your attention. I'm feeling like pulling a Romance Angels card, which is fun. And just, as a general reminder, with these questions, there's no pressure to donate or pay for them. But if you do want, there is a PayPal donation button on my site. It was your ex. Okay, it was your ex. Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Your XV. So, let's stay, everyone who is attending, watching, and receiving fully this reading, let's stay grounded and focused on what it is you are looking for deeply in your heart. And let's stay grounded, calm, in this restful state. Svetlana, I know that there's been like questions in the past of whether or not to go back to this ex. And I've often been like, I don't know, I just don't see them as like ready. It's often because I don't see their energy as like being able to actually reciprocate. So it's like, whatever you have to give, then feel free. There are people in my life where I know that there's not, there's friends in my life. I know that there's not as much ability for them. They're just distracted, or they have kids, and, they have a lot of different stressors in their life that I currently don't have, or something. I have different ones than they have. And so, I just give them a bit more energy to like allow, one of my friends, it's sad. Her partner is dealing with cancer. And then I feel like, I don't really need to talk all about my stuff. I'd really just like to give her a sounding board. So those are things that I might do with my time, because I know that there is this reciprocal energy. If I was going through something, she would want to be there for me as well. And so we go through these sort of phases. With this ex, Svetlana, it's interesting. It says, healing family issues and keep an open mind. And I have a feeling like this ex shows up as some sort of reminder of one of your parents. So, I mean, it could be either mother or father. I'm not sure which one for this. Usually I feel it more clearly, but it could be either, or maybe both. Maybe there's something that reminds you of exactly what your parents had as a connection, or not. Father, okay. So if this resonates with you, then So I would say maybe there is like a layer of healing that, you can say, hey, thanks for coming in, so that you can have this trigger. It's like, thanks for the fact that now I can face whatever it is that's going on. I gotta say, because I know you come here to receive honest feedback. I don't feel as though this ex of yours is actually like a really ideal partner for you. But I do see them as important on your healing journey. And I think like sometimes we have these people who come in and out so that we can learn something. And similarly, you might also need to allow this ex to fly free, right? Like in open space away. It's interesting. Keep an open mind card. It's like, I just see this one little character sort of just flying above. He's in and out, right? And that's the thing. It's not, it just doesn't feel like he's truly actually available for what it is that would be an ideal match for you. I actually see him as like not very responsible, which, I think it's important. You think about partnership, there is the romance, there is the love aspect. And I'm, a true romantic at heart, truly, but there is also this reality and awareness that, there are people who, they could work on paper, but in reality, they don't have the same amount of energy available for each other, right? It says your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. So it's interesting. I said, let's pull these cards before you actually said that it was the ex kind of coming back. And it's like, it's going to differ from your usual type, and your usual type would have been your ex. So I just see that it's going to differ. That's the thing. I just see it's going to be different than what this current energy of your ex partner is. So that being said, I'm going to do another. Da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Yeah. Okay. Svetlana, I see. So you said general love reading, right? I'm just doing like general. Okay. Hopefully that's right. I just start talking and then who knows what I'm actually saying. And I'm going to jump off in a minute or two because I am going to go to the Soul Circle and our Soul Circle Oracle and do that. Thank you, Alexandra, for the reminder. I appreciate you. You know that I do this every week. Sometimes I'm so good at just hopping off early, but I wanted to get to the end of this for Svetlana as well. So you have Eagle King, which says the big picture and angelic help. So I don't see that your answer is going to come in your like day-to-day external reality, or it's not going to come talking to like friends, because there's something that feels very important about your next partner that feels like divinely sent, that feels like much more who you are meant to be with. And then you also have the Arrow Master. The Arrow Master says hitting the mark, intention, and detachment, right? And so the attachment would be to fixate on this one person, this ex, or this one person that you have feelings for, right? And to fixate on it is not to allow you the opportunity to see actually what is in divine truth and to allow yourself that detachment. I also see intention. So I see yourself actually intention setting this week. So using some of this energy that I was talking about, that we have collective energy of this actual like reevaluating your desires, right? And to look at what it is you would like to create. And then also this reflection, right? This reflection and perspective. And that's what it feels like, this reflecting and perspective on what it is you would actually require in relationship. What do you actually require and what do you desire? So desires, requires. If you could think about what it is you desire in a relationship or in a romantic partnership, and then what it is you require. So these are like non-negotiable things. You can then be like, check yes, check no. This person has that or does not have that currently. And then it will be a lot easier for you to be able to decide, whether that ex deserves more time, or whether you actually allow him to go free and be like the bird, to separate and to be able to heal on his own path. I have an ex who is a friend of mine now, but for a couple years, we had to not be in each other's lives, because if we were in each other's lives, I don't think he would have taken, or they, would have taken the opportunity that they needed to heal, because it is almost too entrancing. It's too easy to stay connected with someone who you feel like you can put all those, eggs in that basket. And I really, we both did that in a certain sense. So both of us, we could be a walking testament. Maybe I'll get them on here at some point to help talk about that story. I don't necessarily see that it's like over, like you could actually have some kind of friendship, but I do think this week it's good to like completely separate, detach, and then to be able to make some intentions on what it is you actually desire, not what you don't desire. And to also remind yourself to stay grounded in like what feels truthful, and not rise up to some level of chaos or attachment that allows you to have that kind of like, it's like a foggy view of what the truth is. So let me know if that resonates with you. I will be back next Sunday. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do that as well. If you want to go sit and actually really want to focus on, hey, what is this love stuff all about? We can always go do that. So that's it for today. I'm going to skip off to Soul Circle. They are, I'm sure, waiting for me. And let me know if anything else comes up, but I will be here Sunday, and I'll also put some more videos out this week. So enjoy, take care. Sending you all love and support and healing in any which way that it is easeful for you, right? So go to what is not giving resistance. and go to what it is you do want to create in your life. Okay. Take care, everyone.